She was born in Nigeria. Her father was a respected Nigerian professor. Her voice conquered the world. But one question has continued to puzzle the minds of Nigerians, and that is, why has Sade Adu disappeared from her father's homeland? Was it simply because she grew up in England? Or did something happen after her father's death that made her change her mind? Or has the real story remained hidden behind years of silence and speculations? Today we will take a chronological journey through the life of one of music's most enigmatic stars, Sade Adu. We'll separate documented history from rumors and uncover the mystery behind her Nigerian roots, the emotional story surrounding her father's burial, and why she has remained an enduring mystery. At the end of this documentary, you may never see Sade Adu's story the same way again. Helen Folashade Adu was born on January 16, 1959 in Ibadan, Western Nigeria. Her father, late Professor Sade Adu, was a Nigerian economist and university lecturer. Her mother, Anne Hayes, was an English nurse. The couple met while late Professor Sade Adu was studying in London. They both relocated to Nigeria after their marriage. Folashade, her Yoruba name, which means honor confers a crown, was shortened to Sade by her family and friends, a name by which the world would later know her. Ibadan, her place of origin, was one of Africa's intellectual centers, and her father belonged to a generation of highly educated Nigerians that helped shape Nigeria. And Nigeria at the time was at the brink of independence. Sade Adu was only 4 years old when her parents separated. Her mother returned to England with Sade and her older brother Banji. They initially lived with their grandparents in Essex before settling permanently in England. From that point onward, nearly all of Sade's upbringing took place in briefing. Although Sade was only a child when she left Nigeria, she never denied her heritage. And in one interview, she jokingly, talked about the long gaps between her albums. And she quipped saying, "I'm Nigerian, I'm always late." Although that comment was delivered humorously, it just goes to show that she continues to identify with her Nigerian roots. Sade Adu had no intention of becoming a musician. In fact, she studied fashion design at St. Martin's School of Arts in London, where she worked as a model to support herself. She stumbled into music by accident when some of her friends asked her to sing with their band. Her smooth, understated style quickly attracted attention. In 1984, the band Sade released Diamond Life, featuring classics such as Smooth Operator and Your Love is King. The album became an international phenomenon. Unlike many artists of her generation, Sade Adu avoided celebrity culture. She rarely gave interviews and deliberately stayed away from gossip columns. Reflecting on one of her artistic philosophy, Sade Adu once said, "I never want to repeat myself." And that kind of commitment to authenticity became one of the defining characteristics of her career. As Sade Adu's popularity exploded, so did public curiosity. People wanted to know everything about her life, from her relationships to her family, and most especially her connection to Nigeria. But Sade remained remarkably private. Instead of living in the spotlight, she chose to live quietly, raising her family away from Hollywood and London's celebrity scene. Her silence created a vacuum, I would say, and it made people to fill that vacuum with questions and speculations. In 1985, tragedy struck. Professor Sade Adu had passed on in Nigeria, and multiple historical accounts indicated that Sade Adu returned to Nigeria to attend her father's funeral as well as pay her last respects. But that particular visit would become the subject of one of the most discussed stories about her personal life. According to later reports, it was revealed that the pastor delivering the funeral sermon criticized Sade Adu during the service. He accused Sade Adu of not doing so much for his hometown, despite his education and accomplishments. One account says Sade Adu was heavily overwhelmed with emotions and broke down in tears several times when she tried to respond. I can imagine what it would have been like for Sade to have witnessed and heard such hurtful words coming from a clergyman, not an ordinary man, from a man supposedly bestowed with wisdom and biblical insights. Although there are no known interviews that linked the funeral to any decision to avoid Nigeria, so it should be treated as an account reported by others and not as an established explanation for her choices. Despite her distance from Nigeria, Sade Adu has never erased her heritage. Her name remains proudly Yoruba, and she has spoken warmly about being Nigerian. She has even joked about some Nigerian habits in interviews. Sade Adu's life reflects two cultures. She is simultaneously Nigerian by birth and ancestry, and British by upbringing and citizenship. A combination that has shaped both her life and acts. The greatest mystery surrounding Sade Adu is not why she stayed away from Nigeria. It is how someone can become one of the biggest stars in the world and still choose to reveal very little about herself. Sade's life reminds us that fame does not erase privacy. And while so many accounts are circulating stories about her relationship with Nigeria and her father's funeral, the reality is that only Sade knows the truth and can give the full story about her personal journey. Until she chooses to tell that story herself. The most respectable approach is to appreciate verified facts, acknowledge where uncertainty remains, and to respect the privacy that has always defined her remarkable life. What do you think? Do you believe Sade's limited presence in Nigeria is as a result of her upbringing and lifelong commitment to privacy? Or do you think there are deeper experiences she has chosen to keep to herself? Kindly share your thoughts respectfully in the comments, and till I come your way, stay blessed.